Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, Love and Light. I wanted to remind everybody that although times don't really seem so balanced and harmonized, we actually hold the ability within ourselves in order to gather those tools and utilize them whatever path we choose to take. Because if we are walking within a balanced and harmonized self, then we have the ability to see clearly and to rely on our discernment. And when we reach this level of awareness, right, then it becomes very clear to us that the realm of creation and life are two separate realms completely. And that the upper realm, where our creator resides and where different aspects of thought were created that, I suppose are called aeons, right? That they were formed in pairs, staying in the balanced and harmonized aspect of all that is loving and pure. Because loving and pure doesn't actually always mean high vibrational and everything is bright and shiny. Because in order to find the balance, you have to understand the negative and find the center in between where you could utilize both realms, but to your advantage by allowing the positivity of the negative to come and surface within your reality, allowing your clarity to be able to lead you to a more beneficial self-discovery road, right? Which always leads to spirituality, because when you learn, then you evolve, you grow, and you start to remember. And when you start to remember that everything is divided, then you also remember that although the earth and the solar system and all of the dimensions in between here and the planoma where pure thought and loving intention exists, right? That was created through an unbalanced thought that one of the aeons performed on her own, thinking that she didn't need or was wisdom filled enough in order to be able to see what might occur when she put that thought into a dream or into a manifestable situation. And she created who everybody considers now to be God, except he's cruel because he doesn't have the ability to be balanced, and he doesn't have the ability to be harmonized within himself because he wasn't created with the balance and the harmony that would have allowed his ascension in a different direction. And maybe that was on purpose, because it gives everybody the ability to remember who they are, to dig deeper into the facade of what this planet, this existence, these lessons, and even the people around us are actually here to show value in, right? Because how you perceive a lesson that you learn always gives you the value that you need in order to go forward on a higher, more elevated, well-rounded foot. And unfortunately, in the beginning of time, when this God, this deity, decided that there was no one greater than he because ignorance filled him, right? That's why ignorance is so prevalent here. That could be very well the reason that there are way too many energies that tend to not see the right picture that's standing right in front of them, that they still choose to allow a cloud or a veil of illusion to lead their steps and alter their mindset in order to be easily manipulated within the structure or the matrix, if you will, of Earth. And when the purest of aeons saw that this was happening, they interjected. They didn't get really mad at the aeon of wisdom. They helped bring balance and harmony to a situation that didn't really manifest in the manner in which it was projected, and that was because it was an unbalanced, lopsided projection. So that means to me that although the realms are divided, and although an injustice or an imbalance created where we are right now, that doesn't mean that we can't evolve from here. Because when this God was created, whether it be intentional or not, right? The God was created with a soul, some type of enlightenment or knowledge, if you will, from his mother, wisdom. Some people call her Sophia. In any event, that divinity was very shallow and had no depth, because although he could see and he could intelligently build, right, he couldn't create. He could only mirror what he saw above, which is the heavenly realms, or the monad and Paloma, the Paloma realms, where the creator resides. So trying to mirror that, this is creation. But he did this to trap us because he wanted complete domain over everything and everyone. Because of his ignorance, he thought that everyone should bow to him and be subservient, if you will. And when they say that there's 4 corners of the world, I think that that means that there's 4 different types of energies that are currently residing here. The ones that are of light essence, like you or I, where divinity has always been with us, and it's something that we've always known, that we are a bright, shining beacon, if you will, here to lead, here to love, here to live in love, right? And then there's the ones that have an empty soul, no substance, nothing behind it, just a void. And then there's those that aren't of here at all. They're like fill-ins, they're like backdrops, they take up space, but they don't really add any value. But they can add a lot of disgrace. They can do mischievous, malevolent things that they may enjoy, but nobody else does. But that's because they're hand in hand with this cruel God who wants to hurt, suppress, and dominate. And then the 4th set of individuals, I believe, are those that are stuck in transit, those that on some level know that there's something more than them out there and that they feel limited because their situation or their surroundings or even their teachings, like while growing up, limited their mindset, or their intuition or imagination rather was like stifled out, and their intuition, wasn't really relied upon as a positive tool because they allowed the negative energies to infiltrate their field and kind of like burn them out from the inside out, so to speak. But I feel that whether you have an empty vessel, whether you have light and divinity within you, whether you're aware of this or not, whether you're stuck on the fence and you feel that you're limited and you can't get up, I'm here to remind you that nothing is as bleak as it may sound, because everyone speaks of Jesus and how Jesus is an ascended master and how Jesus came to earth willingly in order to go through the trials, understanding that he would lose his knowledge of who he actually, is and where he came from and what he has to offer. But through his faith and his belief in the ability to achieve what he could not see, by leading with his inner divinity, he was a beacon of light for a large amount of people. Not that he wanted to be praised or worshipped, but that he wanted to teach, to show, to remind that everyone of the light and souls that are here intentionally to experience the growth and the development of life, not your empty vessels, not your, negative, low dense energies that have infiltrated this space over millennium through bloodlines that were created by this all-powerful, cruel God, right? To hold the masses in some type of a suppression that they would feel that they had nowhere to turn. But Jesus reminds us that when you look within and when you seek the questions that you're answering with the resonance that you feel within your energy, and rely upon your memory and your intuition and those inner nudges that tell you, yes, you are correct, because we did come here to evolve. We did come here to escape. And the matrix, that is. And we did come here to show that every other light essence has the same ability, not just to survive in whatever form or fashion another energy chooses to perceive that you can only go so far, but that you could break out and you can stand tall and you could remember who you are and call back all pieces of you to this time and this space and increase your vibration. And I don't want to say brighten your light, but maybe intensify the energy that is within your field, which in turn will vibrate your light to a higher level, right? Because keep in mind, we are energy, and energy is all around us. And every part of life has some type of energy attached to it. Sadly, the most part of life's energy that we, up until now, have been able to feel most readily is that of despair, that of hurt, that of suppression or domination, or the misillusion that fear is an anchor and that you can't release yourself. But none of that is true. None of that. When you realize who you are, and I can help you with that too, because there's a lot that have always known, but now I'm being directed by my spirit team towards their titles, their names, their position within the realms. And what I've always known, what I've always felt, is that I am from the most highest of realms, and that I came here on purpose, knowing I was going to suffer and I was going to get stuck until I was able to realize that my divinity has never held me down. It has always lifted me up and has always given me the encouragement to continue to hold my faith, to keep my choice, and to walk in a positive direction that doesn't just unite or uplift me, but it gives the ability for everyone everywhere with divinity to reach the threshold of love and light and positive encouragement, to release the bondage that once tried to hold you down by your ankles. Our intention, our direction, the love in our heart has already freed us. Now it's just your turn to remember, to claim your divinity and your rightful place. And in order to elude the matrix in your next spin around, you should start practicing your I am affirmations that you are of love and light, and that you do not submit to any false god or negative route, that you use your ability to always see clearly, whether you're in one dimension or another, that you have the ability to stand firm in your sovereignty, and that you know who you are. You claim your love, you claim your inner divinity and your light, and that you reject the cycle of having to explain your actions or why you did what you did during life, because that's a trap. Don't get stuck. Understand that with your divinity and your clear intentions, that you will go on to the next level, to the next phase. You will be returned back, given an open doorway, should you decide to take it, to reside, to remember the divinity and go to your highest realms. And eternity is bliss, for there we are all balanced and harmonized. We are all beacons of light, knowledge, wisdom, and energy held tight. And if you choose that you will reincarnate back in earth, then your job is clear and simple, and that's to find your way back out and lift the masses while you do it. That's where I am right now. I am helping every single one by reminding you of your inner divinity, by allowing you to rely on your inner knowing, your advanced perception, your pivoted mindset, your ability to achieve the love and the light and the pure essence that you have always been, which will lead you to your true home and not stuck in a cycle for yet another loop. Unless, of course, you choose. Then you could be me in another lifetime. See how well that works? When we rely on the positive and we offer hope and true knowledge to all those who are looking to achieve the human existence, even though we all know before we migrate here that it's a place filled with disruption, disillusion, and evil. But that's where the yin and the yang and the up and the down and the right and the wrong and picking and forming and building your morality and your character by remembering who you really are on the inside and then letting that be your shining light, leading others to find their bright, the star that lives within, the fractals, the pieces of the ultimate one, the true creator, where life, love, positivity, and forward motion are all wonderful energies embraced, shared, interconnected, unity. We're all here together for one purpose: to learn, to live, to love, to ascend. Love and light.